So green lights and we are racing in Sardinia. Off we go. So this is qualifying. They'll do one lap with one driver, switch and do another lap with their second driver, and you can see what a rough ride it is already. This is the drop-off zone.
Oh, Molly's not dropped it, she's spun it, she rolls! Rolls the car, same as in Greenland, back on the wheel, she gets going again. She dropped that on the brakes at the top of the crest, just got sideways over the hill, Jenny, and over it went.
Oh, Molly, how could you do that again?
She comes over the crest, the car's just a little bit sideways, and it digs in at the bottom. It's another low-speed roll, although when you hear it in slow motion, it sounds absolutely horrendous. The Rally de Gazelles. Oh, the problem for Sarah Price, sideways. Is that broken? There's a lot of noise from the rear of the car. I think the suspension's collapsed. It has the rear left. That's very similar to what happened to Kevin Hansen yesterday. Absolute disaster. What have they got to do to get a change in their luck?
But this is, I think, where the damage happens. She swings the car around to the left, clatters the board, but there's a rock behind that board, and she's clipped that, and the car goes down on its haunches. You can see there, rear left suspension has gone, and that is the end of the run. Just going a little bit sideways, but just trying to nail it through this Continental Traction Challenge. It's gone way wide.
Gone off, so rear end of the car kicked up, Jenny, and he ended up offline. Luckily, manages to get back through the gates. Nothing too major to hit. They're 1,000. Oh, no! Is that broken steering on the front right? Did you see? It looked like I think it is. I think the steering's broken on the Excite Energy machine. You saw the front right wheel just pointed off at a completely different angle. That's going to have to get parked. Water runs down. You'll all have seen it if you've been walking somewhere in a... Oh, spin for Gutierrez, goes round. Gets back on the throttle, drives through some of those bushes there. She uses the handbrake to try to rotate the car a little bit more. And Jenny, that is how quickly it can go wrong. Throwing down big time. Sebastian Loeb doing what he does best. They have absolutely smashed this.
Yeah, I don't think he could have gone any faster through that section. He's done that to perfection, 100%, full throttle. Look at that time, 11:05, over 30 seconds faster than anybody else.
He's on the radio. There's definitely a problem. You can see Katie making hand signals as well. The very first time we saw him on board, it just looked to me like he's not able. He's 9 seconds down. This is a guy who's won, world championships. We know Timmy's bang on the pace of everybody else, and he's not able to match it, Jenny.
Yeah, now that bodywork's got caught under the tyre, so that's going to be really frustrating, and it'll get ripped off at some point, and it doesn't even really matter. It's just an annoyance that they need to get rid of. We saw that when Taylor rolled the car, that whole section came off. Didn't affect her, but actually having it flapping around is the worst of the options. Beautifully taken around that waypoint flag 27. Looks really good, so she's coming towards the finishing line, and a really strong performance, as you can see. Second place, full beans, through the finish line, and there we go, really nice time. So 12 seconds behind Gutierrez and Loeb, but I think they'll be really pleased with that.
JBXE, Hansen and Arlen Kodlinski. It's been a good run, blasting down now towards the finish line. The target would be Sainz and Sands for P2, but I think they're going to end up P3 over the line. And they go third, so it's a good run, 22.9, but they're ahead of championship leaders Christopherson and Taylor.
They've shown they're adept at many of the challenges that have been thrown at them, and Sarrazin, again, nice clean run, which is what he wanted.
Good run as well. It sees them go P3. So at the minute, it's X44, Acciona Sainz and Veloce. Right now, it's about how far up this leaderboard they can get. They're chasing down the time of Gilmore and Sarrazin for Veloce. Jutta Kleinsmith coming down towards the finish line now. She crosses the line, and where they slot in, they go fourth. So at Cupra into P4. Well, that's it then for Q1. Confirmation of the result. It's X44 at the top of the table with Gutierrez and Loeb. A spin for Gutierrez, don't forget, but Loeb with an absolutely epic run. P2, Acciona Sainz. Sainz and Sands, brilliant performance by both of them as well. And Gilmore and Sarrazin right up there in P3. Just look, a second and a half ahead of Abt, Cupra, Ekstrom and Kleinschmidt. Looking for that green light, there it is. And Christine GZ gets Q2 underway, reaches down to the dash, changes that setting that all the drivers change as they head off the line.
So many different challenges within this this race weekend. Oh, the rear end kicking up really nastily, just caught a little bit of a hole and pushed the car up.
It's another look at the moment with Ollie. So to the right is, he goes through the, should have gone left. Yep, there we go. Okay.
Just realised it too late, didn't he? Realised that he'd missed that. Yep, windscreen wipers on again as they take a splat into the water. That was a real belly flop, wasn't it, that time almost?
Jumped in as well as jumped out, didn't he? that slightly different line than before? I think it is.
Yeah, definitely taking a right-hand line. Now, I don't know if that's because they were pushed wide, but they've definitely had to rejoin at flag 12 because it gets a lot skinnier there. No option if you're going to make that gate. You've got to go skinny.
I'm keen to see if Loeb's going after the traction challenge again, remember. And now another big cut. So going through the undergrowth there, they're revealing a few tricks on this run, aren't they? He's gone 2 seconds quicker, almost 3 seconds quicker than Excite Racing went through there. Loeb here heading. Can he beat his own time through the traction challenge? Amazing. But Gutierrez coming down now towards the flag. Their time in the first session was a very impressive 11:05.1. I think it's about to be beaten by about 15 seconds. There it is, 11:45. They've gone 20 seconds faster than they went. Remember, Cristina Gutierrez had a spin in the first one. That maybe accounts for 10, but the other 10 is pure speed. Hansen approaching the last couple of gates now over the crest on the right-hand side, going to go over the crest on the left and carry the speed down this straight to the finish line. And the time is 11:04.1.
This is very sketchy area, the downhill that she's doing right now. There's like a huge hole in the middle, so you have to decide if right or left.
Oh, she's just managed to lose the car, so she goes around. As you say, you get into those ruts, you lose the steering. It's heavy to try and correct, isn't it, out there?
It could be a big advantage. Sarazan takes out another camera, 3-0 to the drivers. The cameras, wheel off, front right. Wheel off the car.
What a shame. He won't be able to see what's happened, but that absolutely went to pieces.
So this is it. Look, a little bit of an opposite right-hand lock coming on. Flicks the car back the other way. No, it's just broken when he's hit the brake. So when he's hit the brake, the forces then go through the front of the car. You load the front of the car up with a weight transfer. Will you do it again, Timmy? Because it does look to be quick. I mean, you know, he's got extra with a spin. He manages not to roll the car, but now there's so much dust he can't see which way he's going. Pops out, he's going to try and figure out where the road is. Rejoins, looks down at the wheel. This is a replay of Ekstrom's problem, so he comes through big tufts across. Oh, it's the rear end of the car got kicked up really high. On the gas instantly, trying to spin the car around, but then so much dust that he can't quite see where he's going, and you see him pop out from the dirt and on the far side, trying to figure out exactly where the track is. This is where he realises and pulls it back onto the line.
And it's green for go. Let's see what Carl Leduc can do out here. Let's see what line he takes. Just straight through the middle then.
I've been looking at that, Jenny. I honestly, genuinely wondered about that. Why not? Particularly as we've seen people have offs. Where they've had their offs, they don't then think, oh, I must get back to the track safely. They literally drive through the undergrowth. And I was kind of wondering, why haven't more people just sort of mullered their way through that first sector? And Kyle, well, of course, it was Carl Leduc who did it, wasn't it?
They need to get this car round. They have no time on the board at the moment. Carl Leduc, good show out there.
Yeah, they'd love those 5 championship points, wouldn't they? And there he goes into P2, just 0.83 off.
Full focus. Look at the concentration in her eyes. The arms held rigid, but with enough flex. And there we go, through the finishing line. She's managed an 11:02, 6:08 into second place. Great job. Christopherson just getting caught up there. He's going absolutely out flat chat. He really wants to get these points.
He's taken the low line through there as well. He went to the right-hand side through the undergrowth. His eyes are absolutely wide as he comes through, jumps in and out of the water splash on the exit now, through the exit flags, and let's see what that time was like. Are they going to go to the top? Oh, 0.68! So close, but not quite enough. So 5 points at the minute, still going the way of X44. That would close it right down. They know they need it. Kicks the rear end of the car really high up. I just wondered for a second there with that camera angle whether or not they'd... Oh, no! And we're right. Has he got a problem? So now he's going to have to try and hang on. There's definitely something. Is it rear wheel? Rosberg's looking at the screen just as we are. He's probably got the same small monitors we've got. No, the car seems okay.
Front right puncture. I can see it from here. It's deflating at the front right, so he's going to have to nurse this back. Hope it doesn't delaminate, which would be that the entire wheel just goes off on one, but it looks like there's more of a problem. You can see the dust coming up from that car. Doesn't look right or happy.
Still aiming for that top 3 position. Christopherson going to blast down towards the line now. Just a couple of gates to go. It's 18.7 was the gap to Andretti. United, it's 17.6. 5.2 up to Leduc and Price over the line. They get P3. So he just misses outlook on Leduc and Price. So close. What a drive without the puncture, Jenny.
Wowzers, it was just too aggressive, too much at risk, but he managed to get it back. What an impressive drive that was. He looks absolutely wired.
Oh, it had to be X44 taking their 4th TQ in a row. Is this finally going to be the weekend they take the win tomorrow? If they can, they'll close that gap down just a little bit more again to RXR. But so many quick teams here. It's been a real up and down day. You can see that from the qualifying points on the right. Lots of people with one good and one bad session. This is how it's played out. And of course, down at the bottom end of the table, Excite Energy Racing. We've got Veloce and we've got JBXE as well. So those guys are going to be into the crazy race tomorrow. That's their championship points as well at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, Andretti United, then Segi, Chip Ganassi and Acciona Science. You can see the points they're collecting. Apt, Cupra, RXR and X44 taking the big points this weekend. So they've done well for themselves so far, but still plenty more on the table.